All right, everybody, away we go. Welcome to today's call. It is my favorite day of the week, Friday, October 18th of 2019, and this is the TRC sales training call. And I'm excited to do this one always because this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where you really get to drill down, where you have to make some money here, and you have to convince people to do the right thing to help themselves, and that's not always easy. So I'll give you a little anecdote as I usually do to start the call off as people roll in here. I have had a challenge with a lot of my listings on Cape Cod specifically. It is a beautiful place to live, but is not a primary residence for most people, especially as you move up the ladder north of average and especially into luxury. It's a second home market. So the way that people make decisions there are very different from the way they make them here. I'm in Boston today. They make them differently because it's not a primary residence. So it's not a have to have place. So the perception of the way that certain things work can be skewed from one market to the next. But given the fact that I get the benefit of being with all of you in all these different marketplaces, I get to share insights with you, but not the least of which is my own dichotomy in these two marketplaces. So let me say it this way, is that often what will happen on Cape Cod is that there are people who will, so for example, I have a client who did a spec house. I'm going to give you this anecdote today. He did a spec house, meaning he's a one-off builder from here to there. He's not a developer per se. He's an administrator in the university system here in Massachusetts. Great guy, super detailed guy, knows his stuff. And he did this house, and it's off of a golf course, and you would think, my gosh, how could this not be a no-brainer? Beautiful brand new house, challenging lot. House is on sideways a little bit. Some people didn't like it because of that, but it looks right down the golf course. You get a little close to golf. So I get it. There would be some reasons why people wouldn't want a property like this. There's no doubt, but I took it on off after it had expired. And subsequently, as time went on, I exhausted the original price that I got, only to come to the conclusion that, this is probably not the right price. We had a discussion and we came down pretty significantly. In this case, just under $1 million for this property. And it was tough. But we never deviated from our plan. In other words, high communication, regular open houses that I did. And this is one of those open houses where on a relatively regular basis, I didn't really have a lot of traffic. But to do the push marketing that I promise my clients that I will actually get off my butt and do something, I went in there for my 90-minute tranche. My favorite is 10:30 to 12 on a Saturday morning. People are positive. They tend to be out there looking. So I try to put myself in a position to do them whenever possible for the benefit of my client. Obviously, if somebody comes to the door and wants to buy that house, there's the real home run. And secondarily, if they come, they meet me and they don't like that house, but they need service in the buy side or the sell side, wonderful. So you get it. I just execute that plan. And I did so on a regular basis with this client. So even when you grow weary in that process, we continue to execute the plan. I say we because Laura and I are always strategizing each week which one of our listings needs the most attention, needs the lean in, needs the push marketing that we promised them. And the push marketing is part of the sale, right? Actually getting marketing the open house and doing it. One of the things also that a lot of salespeople don't recognize is that to me is the marketplace in one house. So the marketplace in general where salespeople make a living is the multiple listing service, right? So that's the marketplace. A lot of you don't quite understand when I say market making. Well, you are an agent who bought access to the multiple listing service where the inventory lives, but the inventory is not electronic. It doesn't trade itself in there blindly like a share of stock. You have to go out and actually create a marketplace in the physical product. So when you hear me say making a market for an individual house, that means doing open houses. That means going to the co-broke showings and making something happen. And subsequently, I'll tell you the tale of two cities here is I have a house that's under duress, the situation, the house, the family, and this one brand new. So I had this dichotomy going on, and we were doing our open houses at one, and the other one, it was very important that I start to really be at every showing, especially second ones, because I was able to explain the complications of the deal properly and subsequently put that house under agreement. And the other one, the moral of the story is the other one finally got the right buyer. It was really a niche product. We really weren't that far off price. So ironically, price, even though we always presume it was an issue, wasn't as big an issue as you might presume, it just took a long time to find somebody who really did truly appreciate what it was. But all the while, we were always in that marketplace recognizing, are we losing to other $1 million listings that are in this community that offer more? And the answer was no. So we just had to be patient. So again, as salespeople, you are not going to affect sales by sitting in your office. You don't make money as a salesperson in this business by sitting in your office. I had put together for agents, and I'm redoing this for Campfire. Campfire will come live. All of you that are team members are invited for free into Campfire, which is basic agent training beyond sales. And for years, for salespeople, I reminded them this through this formula that I kind of ripped off from P90X. I liked that. P90X was a formula for getting fit quickly. And so I thought you could bring that to real estate. So the DPPO20, if you ever hear me say that, was me always saying, look, I can get you the best part-time in the world in real estate, but you have to execute the plan. And the plan includes doing things like every single weekend that you possibly can, putting yourself in the marketplace, in an open house, even when nothing happens, and not whining when nothing happens. I didn't whine. I kept going. So I walk this walk. I do what you do every day. And I just want to continue to give you anecdotes that as your leader on these sales training calls, I want you to know this is not theory. This is actually what happened. So as I sit here over the last week, a long drawn-out process with one speculative house and a long drawn-out process with one distressed sale, dichotomy of product, but it was because I was proactive in both of those sales. I leaned in to affect a positive outcome by making sure I was there to cross T's, dot I's, and when you do that, negotiation becomes a lot easier, okay? So today what I'm looking for is anything from you to feast on like that. I would love to help you do the same thing, consummate difficult deals, get clarity on regular deals, talk on the phone correctly. There's a lot of things that we can discuss on this call, but I need you to help me by telling me what it is that you want to know, okay? All right, let me open up the microphones. Remember, please police your own mic. These are live mics. If you called into the number, that means you have access because you or your team leader has membership. Respect that and understand the rules of the game. Mute your mic on the other side. If you're in the car, you're still welcome. If you end up online on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever, you're still welcome. I just need you to understand that you have to police yourself, okay? Here we go. Give you 1 second here or so to police your mics, okay? Just make sure if you're in a noisy spot, you hit the mute button. All right, who's up? Give me an anecdote. Give me a challenge. Yep, go ahead, Georgie.
Danny.
Georgie, hang on, and then Paul. George and Paul, I heard you in that order.
Okay. I just wanted to come at. I'm trying to find out where are scripts that we use for our summer stuff because of me moving to Florida and basically starting like a brand new agent. I'm gonna just basically run through the gauntlet that way, but I want to train the right way in this new area.
Okay, good. Well, number one, for you, the answer is the scripts are on the Teachable site. That's the easy answer to that question. The other part of the other part of this is that I can do that with you now. And I prefer to do that with you now, okay? So if everybody needs a little context here, George is a member of the mastermind, but decided to change his life like we've had several people do and move. And that's a pretty daunting task. And as I always say, I'm sitting here in Boston as much as we've been up here doing this via my brother and others. For my own book of business with Autumn and Laura, we're beginning to study the best way to find sellers when you don't have as strong a brand as you do on Cape Cod, right? Established. So George is in that context. George, tell us where are you geographically in Florida again?
I actually relocated to Manatee County, but it's just south of St. Pete, Tampa. It's in Bradenton.
Okay.
I chose that area because I grew up here. I have a lot of people I know.
Yeah.
And that kind of opened up things, and that helps a lot.
Sure.
And I'm comfortable here. And,
okay.
I know the area, although it's changed a lot in 20 years. I mean, it's insane, but
All right, good. Okay, so stop. So I got a couple things I want to work with. Because of this unique situation that you grew up there, there's a sphere of influence there that helps us determine, first of all, you got specific with me. You know where I'm going to go with you because we've already done it one-on-one, is the idea of where specifically in the geography are you? And you have to narrow that niche down to where there's about 500 sales, which is 2 sides, 1,000 sides, okay? That's enough to start. And that needs to be the place idealistically that as you grow, that's the spot that you feel comfortable growing and that there's enough at a higher end there. So when you establish that, and I think we talked about that, correct? You good? You good with that stuff? Yeah, because I want to give it the right context. I don't want to just answer the sales concepts because I think the minute we drop ourselves somewhere, it's easy to act without a plan. And the idea is still to have this vision for being successful at or above the average in what geography again, where there's about 500 sales? Give me the name of it.
Yeah, it's Lakewood Ranch.
Okay, good. Stop. Excellent. And I'm stopping you because I don't want your brain to go anywhere other than only the place it has to be successful. So in Lakewood Ranch, in the Bradenton area, is where you're going to look for sellers that are at or above the average price range. So to that extent, have you done the research yet in Lakewood Ranch? And it's okay if it's no, because I know it's been discombobulating to move. But have you done the research to get yourself to a spot where you're fully understanding the money?
Yes, but it's old. I mean, it's like 90 days or 120 days old.
That's not that old. Okay, I'll take it. What's the average or median price?
$315.
Okay, so $315. Okay, how high does it go up?
That's not very high, I think.
Guys?
Million. It goes up to over $1 million.
Okay, so over $1 million right there. Okay, are you sure that's the median number? Hey guys, we have live mics. You can't talk into the mic, please. Well, I'm trying to focus with him. All right, you have to police your mic. Okay, go ahead. Say it again because I want everybody to hear this. I'm walking him through something extremely intentional as a salesperson so he knows exactly what he's after. And I'm challenging the number right now. Are you certain it's that low for a place that has well over $1 million?
Well, yeah, I was pretty confident about it because I pulled the solds and I went back a year.
Okay,
and that was the median.
Good. Okay, so the median number is 300 plus or minus. Do you know exactly the number? Crooked numbers are delicious. Round ones is the brain getting less specific.
Plus or minus. I'd say plus or minus. It's not.
All right. Cool. Get yourself, okay? Get yourself a real number. It'll be better for you, okay? Get yourself a real number. It will be better for you. Next. Okay, you talked about sellers. Proud of you for doing that, right? Next, who are they? Where are they?
They're in the 34205 area code.
Okay,
that's the area code I'm concentrating on.
Okay, tell me who they are. In an idealistic way, your seller who owns a house in that zip code or that postal code, tell me more about them. Who's ideal? They own that house. And by the way, in that zip code, does the average go up? Does the median go up? Or does it stay the same? Do you think? You probably don't know that yet, but you're going to get me a real specific for our one-on-one.
Right. I'm saying it goes up from what I'm talking to the girl that's helping me getting all this information out of the MLS.
Good.
Because she has access and I don't yet.
Okay, good. All right. So good. So we presume it's up, which I did presume because I know how you're thinking these days. Okay. So now good. So I took you through the exercise that's responsible. That's a responsible decision-making process that makes you arrive at, okay, now answer my question more specifically. In an idealistic way, who is the ideal seller in that zip code?
Second home sellers. These are some first, but mostly these are their second home.
Got it. And what are they doing? They downsizing? They upsizing? They leaving? What are they doing?
A lot of them are upsizing.
Okay, so they're moving up. What's their problem?
Some of them are moving towards the beach or moving towards the golf course areas.
Okay. They have a problem? Do you think they have a problem during this move, during figuring all this out? Do you have a problem that your service can solve?
Hold on 1 second. I'm not understanding that question.
Okay.
The problem would be...
That's exactly what most salespeople trip over, right? These people have to have some challenge or problem that your service can solve better than everybody else, okay? What is the biggest challenge to moving?
Selling their home for what they want to sell it for.
Okay, how do you know that?
Well, without asking questions of that seller, I don't. But
okay,
I assume
it's okay.
So
play with me. Look, here's the problem. They don't have good guidance. Okay, you want the help? Let me give you the cheat sheet. They don't have good guidance. They don't have a plan. We know that universally in this group, but we just know that they don't have a plan. They're going to do it based on their perceptions. Guy's up in Boston. He's got a house down there. He's like, hey, you know what? I'm selling the big house down there. The house down there in Florida is too small. I want to upsize, but I'm all the way up here, and I can't find a good realtor. That's their perception of what happens. Or I'm confused, or I can't get there. There's a whole host of problems that avatar that you described has. You just have to state the obvious so that you get entrenched in being excited about being able to solve the main problem, the list of problems, so that you can make an offer. Now, that's what they need. They need you, the good guide who's from there, who knows this place. My gosh, so much has changed. Here's what's great about it. You're becoming attached to the body of the marketplace, okay? You're becoming entrenched in it. I took the long way to the office here in Boston today to walk up and down a lot of different streets in Beacon Hill to look at doors, to look at sunshine. I slowed myself down to look at the brick sidewalks, to look at Acorn Street, the famous Acorn Street, exactly where it is, right? So you become entrenched in this micro marketplace. And you start to think, my gosh, if somebody were to, just buy one street up, the walk from the grocery store becomes a real deal. 1 block. My gosh, if they're on this side, there's zero sun all day long, unless there's some on the backside. You become very micro-focused on becoming an expert at a street level. And that's what people want. They want expert guidance. They don't want somebody who doesn't know the lay of the land. It doesn't matter that you just move back there. In fact, I'll make an argument that some people moving into new area because they're curious more so like a kid, they're not walking the same beaten path. They're getting lost in studying more so than ever before, which I expect out of you, right? So now that we're doing that, we're building. It is,
because I'm learning there's new schools, all kinds of
You got it. You got it. So you're entrenched in this move yourself. So to a certain extent, you're the avatar. You're not moving up per se, but you're moving back in. So you become entrenched. So you start to go into these other neighborhoods, recognizing their features and their benefits. And then you're recognizing what is entry level. Why? Is it the dark side of the street? Does it border some part of the, the zip code that's not as sexy as the other? There's a lot of little micro things that we stopped studying long ago, or nobody ever told us to study, that makes you the lifestyle expert, because that's what you're selling. A house is a house is a house. If it meets the basic criteria, as long as it supplies the lifestyle, most people eventually just pick what's in stock, right? So there you go now.
Right.
Now we got a much better understanding of the where are they and the who they are. So you have to think of the buyers coming in to buy this person's spot. And that most likely is somebody who's probably doing pretty well in their late 40s, early 50s, who's not really the person in their 60s and 70s that's selling. So it's the transfer from one generation, 20 years apart or so, to the next. That's all this is. So now you even understand the market making of it. Who's the typical buyer? Who was that person that is the seller avatar as a buyer 6 years ago, 10 years ago when they bought? Now you're beginning to see flow too. So as a salesperson, you see this continuum of attracting that person. You got it?
Got it.
Okay. So now you go, now we finally arrive, after you doing all your homework correctly with me, at what to say to them. Okay? Because you go, well, where are the scripts? Well, again, if I don't know who I'm talking to, why am I starting with script? That's a problem with sales training. We're always starting with the script. The script to whom? What offer? right? Just talked about this with Mark Schwartz on his one-on-one today about the offer that we've made to agents that join us was wrong because we never really thought about who was ideal and what offer could we make and what offer could we back up, okay? So now you come all the way back and imagine yourself finding them. Now, how do you find them, okay? So upon which medium do you find them? Or go deeper into the who. Do they have a context? Why are they selling? What's their context for selling?
Okay. Yeah. So it'd be, I've noticed a lot of golf courses in that area. So I'm wondering if that plays in.
George,
to some of
George, simplify. Why are they selling? How do you know they're selling? The basic questions of the business. You're like skimming right over what script did you want from me? Think that way backwards. What script did you want?
Oh, looking for an expired list.
Okay, there you go. George, stop. George, stop all the extra talk because your mind is all over the place. Stop. Danny, I was looking for the expired script. Great. Who were you going to call and where were they? And a little bit more about them will help. That's it, George. Why is it so much of this other stuff? Why? Because that's all the noise in your head. It's very simple. You have a zip code. You know that these people are upsizing. So you know that you have bought the middle size price and they're moving up. Nice sell buy opportunity. So in that price range, and I would still add the people that are really maybe gotten too old and they're downsizing. You got the upsizer and the downsizer. Follow what I'm saying? The guy or gal who's actually upsizing from the middle to high end is displacing the guy or gal who's most likely going to a nursing home or has passed. I have the whole continuum. It's not rocket science. So all I need to know is on that continuum, what script. George, the script is stupid simple and it's on the site. See, everything is so noisy. It's like, just slow it down. It's basic. George, what is the offer that we make universally in this group to people who have expired? It's a universal underlying fundamental at TRC. Sellers need what from us?
Just offering them, this is what your house, this is what's sold in your neighborhood.
Okay, that's a start. That's what they want, and it'll help. Okay, but what do they need from us?
Information.
No, come on, man.
Plan.
Damn plan.
A plan, yeah.
George, like the noise has your brain falling out the side of your head. It's very simple, okay? See, what you're you want a script and you don't even know what's in the script to give. There's got to be an offer of helping them with something, and it's to give them the plan. Hey, George, it's Danny Griffin calling from Griffin Realty Group. Saw your beautiful house online, and I noticed that it didn't sell. So I wanted to send you some information that'll help you sell it the next time. May I do that? Boom, done. What information? What are you talking about, Danny? Well, included in this package would be a bunch of properties that were in your price range in that zip code that sold while you were on. And furthermore, I've included a copy of our plan, which has seven clear steps that will help you get it sold, and you can figure out which one of them didn't happen the first go round. May I send that to you? Your mind is complicating this. It's your mind. It's your anxiety. It's the ADD that we all have, that we just won't sit still and execute a simple plan. So that's it. That's all there is to it. Now, because I took you in such a deep exercise with the avatar to understand them, to feel what their challenge is and what they're trying to do, and they're frustrated trying to do it, you're down at this, hey, while I have you, George, how come you were trying to think about selling that house? Looked like a pretty good one. Well, I'm upsizing. I'm moving from Boston. I'm coming down here. It's too small. I'm upsizing. Oh, great. Was there a property that you were trying to buy? Is that what stimulated this? No, I just kind of wanted to see what it was worth first. But I don't come down there till the spring. Hey, I'd be more than happy to not just send you this list, but put you on a list of updates every time something around you in that price range sells, so you and I together could watch what's happening. And I could even do some drive-bys and show you some pictures of exactly what that house was or wasn't. Now I upsell into relationship. Right. You're just complicating this. And when you complicate this, guess what happens?
Nothing.
Week after week after week after week after week after week after week goes by, and nothing intentionally repeats itself. Nothing. And that's the problem with sales. We just don't first define who it is, where they are, what their challenge is, and what I can give them for free to ingratiate the relationship. We always want to dive right into a script that converts them. You're not going to convert a guy that's in Boston, that's coming down to Bradenton, Florida, that wants to upsell. You're not going to do it. You're going to open up the dialogue by being helpful, by giving information that they want, properties around them that sold, and stuff that they need, even though they don't need it, your plan. If you ever forget that again, I will hit you in the head with a hammer.
With a bag of pennies. I get it.
No, not a bag of pennies. A hammer. I will nail it into the side of your head. It's two beats. What they want is property information and details. What they need is your plan. If you combine those two as a starter package, you can call it a pre-listing package, you can call it a gift, you can all call it whatever you want. But until I send that direct mail piece, I have no chance to professionalize myself beyond my voice. I go from voice to physical marketing pieces. And if they want to vet me digitally, I've also got that covered. Now, if I can't upsell them in that moment to receiving a consistent flow of these details and pictures, okay, then I wait until they get it, have the moment about me, then I call and I try to upsell. Okay, I upsell to the offer to come over or visit the house and see, and give them specific advice about it. Give them a more technically detailed oriented pricing range. Add them to the MLS if they're not ready for that. I just need to be ready with what upsell can I get? Can I get the appointment? I'm going for it now that I've been professionalized with my stuff. Or if I can't, can I get them on continuity of information so that when the time is right for a real appointment, I'm there? This is very simple. Got it?
Got it.
Okay. In the site, it's called Newest Prospecting Formula. And if you don't have access at the moment, you need to tell me that in an email. Okay?
Yeah.
Period. But follow the yellow brick system. Follow the yellow brick system. Follow the yellow brick system. That's all there is to it.
Got it. I'm actually writing down follow the yellow brick system.
Trust me, it's better than the best of ADD medicine. It's the best. You get a system, you'll cure all this noise. All of you. That was for me. This is how I cured my ADD when it comes to business. You follow the yellow brick system. And the system gives you constant feedback and you refine it. Every time you make this up from the seat of your pants, you ask the same, hey, I'm lost in the poppy fields with Dorothy questions. Again, I don't mind taking them over and over and over again. That's my job. I enjoy it. But to bring you back inside the guardrails, I say, see, there was yellow bricks inside these two guardrails, but you just had to get creative, or you just had to let your brain shut you down, or you had to procrastinate. So here we are. We're right back to where we started. Execute this plan, and you'll find then more specific feedback. All right, on to the next. Good job, Georgie, for putting us right in the thick of a tough conversation.
Hey, Danny.
Yeah, go ahead, Lee. You're up, buddy.
Can you hear me?
I got you, bud.
Yeah, you're muffled, but you want to go over a real life scenario that happened yesterday?
Hold on. Say that again because Paul, I skipped you. I'll come back to you. Hang on. Go ahead, Lee. What was the scenario we had the other day? I forgot.
Well, the reason I wasn't on the mastermind call yesterday is because I literally had a $1.1 million deal fall apart in the middle of a counter.
Yep.
And the seller decided he did not want to accept the 1.1. We had a asking price of 1.2. They came in at 1,080,000. We counted at 1,140, and the buyer came back at 1.1. And then the seller said that if they bought it as is, no contingency, he would sell to them at that point. So we had all that ready to go, and he initialed off on it, and then texted me at 2:33 yesterday and said that he didn't want to sell the house. He was rescinding the offer. So the buyers went into a total panic, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. Why did he have the meltdown?
I don't know. He won't return my call.
Hold on. This is your seller and your buyer? Give me the side you're on.
No, my seller, different buyer.
Okay. So he's having this emotional moment about this whole thing. So he's got seller's regret for whatever reason. And my anecdote at the beginning of the call was about seller's regret. I actually had my seller on a spec house say, well, my wife and I stayed there and we think. I said, stop. Don't tell me you just fell in love with your spec house. If you and your wife fell in love with the Cape, let's go find something by the beach, unless you told me you're the next club guy and you want to keep the membership for yourself. Because if you're not going to tell me that, then you're having a distorted moment here, and you're going to blow up your own deal. Okay? So there are those moments at the very, very, very precipice of being able to tip this into contract that somebody melts down and they have their own cognitive distortion. But if you can't get face to face with him, you can't determine what that is. Right? So
yeah, I think there's some type of emotional, and also timing too. I think is it was a 3-week close, settled November 4th.
Yeah, that'll give anybody a panic attack. I closed my house in 2 weeks, and it even gave me a little bit of the jitters. But I'm a pro, and I had a team that I could mobilize. So 3 weeks is super, super fast. Does the buyer absolutely, absolutely, absolutely have to be there in 3 weeks? I mean, if you can buy,
they're selling their house and moving out.
Yeah, but like I said, I'll repeat it. If they don't have a place to go to, their buyer can't close on theirs. So everybody has to bend in this business. So I think the first thing is, rather than guess, as much as he's gone dark on you, because of course, in a heightened anxiety state, the animal brain kicks in. It's too many calories to talk to you, so he shuts you down, right? So the concept is, can we get to them face to face? Can we send them a softer text that says, look, I know you're stressed to the max, but I really need to just simply talk to you to see that you're okay. Right?
Yeah, I did that. I sent him a text and I said, listen, if it's anxiety and you're messed up about the timing, my team, we have people that will help you get this done, make it as easy as possible. But the interesting thing too is the buyer actually reached out to me to give me shit about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, whatever. That's the buyer's anxiety. So we don't worry about them. At the end of the day, they're just hoping that you can be the resolution, and that's their, immature emotional way of dealing with it. Who cares? That's your job, to shoulder the shit, right? So now, your text didn't work. My question is, does this guy live in this property?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you just pop by?
I did. No, he's not there. He's actually he's an attorney. He does a lot of international deals, so he travels a lot, and he's also on other people's time schedules.
Yeah, so the guy is stressed to the max. What is his reason for selling to begin with? Why did he do it to begin with? Because you got to take him back to that zero-based thinking. You have to reconnect him to it, because all he sees is the current stress of keeping his international law practice going, and he's at the beck and call of everybody else. So to think that he has to juggle all that and juggle a closing inside of 3 weeks freaked him out. Okay, so even though in the heat of the moment he wants to do it, why is he selling is the key point. Why?
Big house, there by himself. Daughter lives in Florida now. All his family basically lives outside the area. He doesn't need all the room. When we first started, this is the guy I told you about, is that 1-2 that wouldn't reduce the price.
Where's he, Lee? Where's he going? Lee, where's he going?
He was going to stay local, go to an apartment.
Okay. Does he have one picked out?
Yeah, he has an area that have apartments.
Okay, so he still doesn't have a specific. Yeah. This guy is shooting from the hip, and 3 weeks he really doesn't have somewhere to go. So see, there's some obvious problems to me here. Is one, he's emotionally attached to the property, having a tough time going. As much as he really does have a reason for going, he doesn't see clearly where. I always say this about sellers: if they don't see clearly where they're going next, you have a serious problem, right? You have to. I just went through that.
One thing I did learn to make sure, which I always ask, is where's your next move? What are your plans?
Right.
What are your thoughts?
So what did he say?
What's your timeline on that?
What did he say?
He said that I'm going to sell everything and I'm going to move in an apartment and live in an apartment for a year and then maybe buy something.
Okay, is it reasonable to move into apartments, find one and move in 3 weeks' time?
Well, I think the one in the price range that he would rentalize, he would be in, yes.
Okay, do you know where he wants to go? Why not be proactive and give him a fistful of things, saying, I'm sure this has something to do with not knowing exactly where you are. Here's 5 of them that are available in the price range that you wanted to rent. I want you to see them. You have to have this guy really see that you're going to be the guy that helps him walk through this chaos. Right? See, this is what I was just talking to Dion Irwin and, talking to her and her team today is the same thing is that if there's chaos in that closing process, it's very easy for deals to blow up and people to melt down, even though they have a real reason from getting from A to B that's heavy. Like that's called zero-based thinking. I learned that from listening to Brian Tracy long ago. You have to bring this guy back to why are you moving? You still want to move. You still want to downsize. Here's the 5 or so that I could find that would fit your needs perfectly. I have all these guys. Here's my mover. Here's this one. Here's that one. All these people can get this done and I can oversee it. But beyond that, what else am I missing? You okay? And again, guys don't.
That's the guy I keep talking about. The
I know.
For some reason, he bought it at 1-1, and he's just emotionally, he 1-2 is his number in his head, and I think that at the end of the day, after he signed the 1-1, he was like, went off the rails about the 1-2
Yeah,
thing.
because it's there's a double sense of loss here. Okay, is this guy divorced?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Like there's a big sense of loss here. Is this the place he bought after he got divorced?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got frustrations about being divorced. When he got divorced, he probably overpaid for this place or paid market rate. Now he can only get that back. So there's injury number 2. Injury number 3 is he's lonely in this place that's too big because he thought he was going to move into another family house. He's lonely and he wants to go to something smaller that provides another lifestyle. There's a lot of injury you're dealing with here. It's a lot of injury. There's a lot of pain that you're dealing with here. It's not so much about the money as much as it is divorced, probably paid too much, got lonely, need to go somewhere. This guy's overwhelmed with emotion. And by the way, in the meantime, I got to keep working because I got, presumably payments to make and, I'm stressed. Guy's brain is just shut down. So the way that you've done a good job at moving him along the continuum is that you've stayed patient with him and you've been nurturing to him. So what you need to do is you need to get in that guy's kitchen with him, sit him down, and show him how much you care. And you've been through plenty of your own challenges in your own life. And we talked about this last week. You need to bring that to him to say, I got you. I understand you. I'm here. It's not easy, but this is the reality, and we can move through this together. Got it?
Yep.
Got to get in his kitchen. You know what I mean? Get in his kitchen. Stop doing it through text. Stop doing it through emails. I don't care if he's not home. He's coming home for the weekend, most likely. Sit on his front doorstep at 7:30 in the morning on a Saturday. Said, dude, I'm here for you. I'm here. This is not about this deal. This is about you as a human being. I got to check in with you. Right? Period.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Paulie, let's go on. Lee, that's a good one. You'll get it done. All right, Paulie, go ahead.
Hey, so I have this seller. It's a property that's about 25 miles north of Seattle in a not very nice area. It's fine. It's blue collar, but it's not very nice. Anyway, long story short, I initially pegged it at 4.25, and that just goes to show that's half what houses here in Seattle cost on average. But anyway, because she told me that new roof, she sent me pictures of the outside, new carpet, new paint a year ago, new bath, and so I was like expecting this really nice house. And I went to see it, and she hadn't seen it either because the tenants had just left.
Yeah.
And they destroyed this house. The
What
appliances were all trashed to the point where they had to be taken out of the house. The baseboards were removed just out of spite and thrown away or broken. The paint was messed up. The carpet was dirty. Anyway, long story short, I got it listed at $399 instead of $425.
Okay.
Which she was not happy about.
Yeah.
We've had it on the market since October 12th, so a month and 1 week. We've had open houses every single weekend. Average maybe 4 or 5 people. Last week we got 0. That could have been because the agent that was going to do it didn't tell me until the last minute, so it might not have syndicated as much as it could have. She's unwilling to budge on the price at all. I finally talked her into putting new appliances in, but she won't put them in until we have a deal, under contract, and then she'll put them in.
Okay.
Slowly, she and her boyfriend are kind of repainting and installing baseboards, but it's not moving. And I'm wondering. Oh, and when I asked her a price point, I'm not going to go to the price. She goes, if you can't get it done by the end of December, I'll just relist it with somebody who can get it done. I'm like, what? Because I've been keeping in great touch. They're showing her all about all the marketing, giving her all the feedback from every agent.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, at this point, do I just kind of keep the listing and just hope against hope that they get it fixed up enough to where somebody wants to buy it at some point at this price? Or
hold on.
Just ditch it?
I get no. Absolutely, should you not ditch it? You need a challenge.
Okay.
You need to be uncomfortable. All of you do. I've been living in Cape Cod selling real estate through one of the most challenging past 10-year, tranches from 2009 to 2019. It's almost been exactly 10 years. It never got easy again. So the best news about having me as your guide is everything is difficult down there. I mean, you have to fire us for us to go away, because we're just getting better. And even if you yell at us and if you're nasty to us and you threaten to fire us or whatever, and it has happened, but people see the effort that we put in. People see the communication that we put in, but you have to educate them more. See, in Seattle, you've gotten away with it, quote unquote, for so long that you've all been jaded by the ease of selling listings. You've been jaded by it. And this is nothing more than the normalization of your marketplace. Unfortunately, your sellers are jaded by this good marketplace too, because their perception is that everything is easy. And the minute
Hey, Danny,
hang on, let me finish.
I totally agree with you.
Gail,
Our market is softening.
Gail, hang on. Gail, hang on.
Last night I said it's going to be.
Gail, you got to hang on 1 second. Let me finish, and then I'm going to let you rip. Hang on. So, Paul, the idea is this. Any of you, now Gail has chimed in too, any of you that have been in really good markets because you've had this interesting vortex of money. So in Seattle, it's been Amazon primarily, obviously Microsoft was already there. This vortex of money has come in. It has created almost an artificial marketplace as backdropped against the rest of the United States. Canada is a whole different animal. When you're talking to Canadians, they've known nothing but this immigration. So you have to look at these economic factors that drive these marketplaces, and you have to say you are finally normalizing. At some point in time, markets normalize, okay? But to throw, like the minute some seller slaps you for the first time in 10 years, to even suggest in your brain, should I ditch it? Oh my gosh, that could be the worst thing that you do for yourself. You need to lean in and resolve the new problems that are going to be sort of the soup du jour in Seattle, which is things are not going to sell unless they're in pristine condition and priced correctly. It will become, the market will shrug its shoulders saying, nah, I don't need to buy a house that badly, that even though at $399 in Seattle, it appears to represent a great value. I don't want the work. I don't want the stress. So now this burden comes. So as much as you have been following up, the same thing in Lee's context there, in that individual case where you now start to lean in with this person, you got to get face to face, but you have to be the purveyor of data. The best cheat that you can make when this starts to happen is data and more data. Is she getting updates from MLS every time something sells around her so that she can see, and you can see, more importantly, what is $399 buying? Does it blow her out of the water, or is it close to you, right? 5 people. Okay, hang on, let me finish. One more thought. Let me finish. The 5 people who came through the market making of the house, who did those open houses? What did those people say? Did we follow up and see if they bought anything else? If they did, what did they do? So a market maker that's now under pressure because it's not easy has to go another layer in deeply to get the answer. They expect better answers from us than, hey, lower the price. If I say lower the price because I've had 5 different people tell me that they went off and bought something else. Here's what they bought, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'll notice here, this stuff didn't need paint. It wasn't in distress situation. So the problem is you have product that we thought when we priced it, we could compete, but we're losing out to better product. Here's the evidence, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Got it? That's my thought. Go ahead. You had a thought, and then Gail, I'll open your mic back up. But I just really needed to get that so everybody could hear it. And then I want to hear about Palo Alto because that's going to happen there too. Like Facebook, all these things are just going to cool off. And that's great opportunity for you all to get better. I've had to get better with Laura. Man, have we taken a beating. Nothing's easy, but we just keep digging in. All right, go ahead, Paul. And then I'm going to open Gail back up.
Well, we have a couple challenges here. You can answer all those questions very succinctly. One, she's older, doesn't check her email. So I literally stopped sending her I still sent them, but knowing that she wouldn't read them. We get from our agents very detailed summaries of the open houses. They literally write a little paragraph about each party that came into the house, what they said, what they thought, the price, condition, etc., what age group they were, everything. So now I call her on Mondays and I read these to her over the phone, and I still email them to her, knowing she's probably not going to check them anyway. All the open houses for these and all properties that I list are done by my team, by someone on my team who's looking to hustle and pick up buyers for themselves, which I really think is awesome. All my listings are held open at least once a weekend, if not twice in some cases.
Paul, hold on. Paul, you're drifting. Let me explain. You're drifting off. You're drifting off of this particular case, and you're defending your systems, which I understand. I want to have a case study and stay in it. Okay. You need to do the same thing Lee did. I'm going to repeat this. It's a good theme today. You got to get in her kitchen. When somebody's older and they can get anxious and you think you're doing it correctly and you think she's consuming verbally what you're saying, there's nothing like another sit down, almost like the listing presentation where you are a savant. Get all of your feedback sheets that you're reading to her. Get all of the solds that have happened that you lost out to. Get in her kitchen, sit down, go through them with her over a cup of coffee, and reconnect to the humanity of the situation is my best suggestion. Because all that other stuff, I know you, Paul. I respect you as a fellow professional. I know you guys stick to the yellow brick system. I know you do. I know you do. You wouldn't have to say that to me. But in this moment, you have to recognize we can't shrink back from the human situation. You'd all be more than willing to go nose to nose with the seller when you're trying to get the listing. But the harder one to do is when they're starting to get angry or frustrated, especially with us, to go back in their kitchen and deal with it. It's my best advice. Get back in the kitchen, bring the updated data, have a conversation, and see how she reacts. You might shock yourself. She might reveal something that you don't know about the stress of her situation that you can solve while you're there.
That was kind of my thought. I was trying to get a second appointment with her, kind of go over new comps that have sold. And, that's a good idea about bringing the feedback that I read her over the phone.
Gotta show her.
So we're holding it open again on Sunday from 1 to 4. My agent Jessica's doing it. So hopefully we'll get some good traffic.
Yeah, but
while
Paul,
I've been listening to the call and putting an ad up on Facebook.
But Paul, there you go again. You're telling me what you're doing right, but you're still not telling me.
Oh no, I'm not telling you what I'm doing. I'm just telling you that we're having an open house on Sunday.
Buy her a cup of coffee, Paul.
I'll see if she's willing to meet. Yeah, I'll give her.
Buy her a cup of coffee where you're excellent. We already know where you're excellent. You meet agents over a cup of coffee. Go meet your seller over a cup of coffee. Say, hey, when my agent's doing this, do me a favor, meet me for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, okay, will do. Sounds good.
Awesome. Gail, there you go, Gail. Turn you loose. I turn you loose now, Tigress. Go ahead. Tell me what you were trying to say.
Hi. Well, what I'm saying is the market is softening. Even in Palo Alto, brand new construction, $4 million.
Yep.
Like the beginning of the year would have sold right away.
Right.
We had to reduce the price because price creates demand, and I spoke with the builder about that.
Yep.
But I'm realizing exactly what you're talking about. If it's going to be hard, do it hard. Meet with the seller. I mean, when our market shifts, it just shifts. It's not like the stock market goes up and down. It's like ready to go lower. And I've sent them homes that have sold in the area, and they all have reduced their price, so social proof of that. But the point is, on my mindset has to change, because I took that listing knowing that it would sell at that price, but the market shifted in August, probably in July.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is. And so all the, like, it backs up to the Caltrain. So all those small location details, which are huge to a lot of people, make a big difference.
For sure.
Now.
For sure.
So I don't think that we're in that market that we were in. It's one of those where I said, I got to get better. I got to get better. I'm going to meet the builder at the property after open house to discuss it, and let's move forward. So
Gil, you bring
I must have been in your broadcasting system in your brain.
Yeah, you are.
Well, thinking about this. Yeah, it happens so often, Danny. It's amazing.
You know that.
We have a broadcasting system, but I heard you loud and clear when I woke up this morning what I needed to do.
I love it.
And then you reiterated it today.
Well, Gil,
it's going to be a tough market because we're used to people just buying. 2 weeks later, it's sold.
Yeah.
Well, it is. If you're under 2 million right now, that's the way it is. But I think you have to know your demographics, and you have to know what's going on in the market.
Gil, I personally like to coach and do business in a normalizing market. I like it the best, because then everybody, like all of the, Buffett has a great line about this. You don't know who's not wearing any pants until the tide goes out, right? So it's a Buffett quote. So the idea is, as the tide goes out, you realize which agents were doing it by the seat of their pants, and they were just lucky, right? You realize they're non-strategic, which creates an opportunity for all strategic agents to come in, like George is now. George couldn't be finding a better time. Doug, Charlie Egan, they're all moving into these new areas. They couldn't find a better time than a normalizing or difficult market, right? Because why? The expireds are going to expound, and all of a sudden it's revealing who's not wearing any pants, meaning they don't have any strategy. Because the expireds will increase, no matter what people want to say, they will increase in every marketplace. And just think that's one indicator, okay? That strategy is needed, plan is needed. So there's a flight to quality. So if you can buff yourself up as a quality agent with a plan, who has better insights as to what the reality is, but more importantly, here's the key. You have to be bolder. You can't shrink from the challenge.
No.
You have to lean in when the dog bites, as I like to say. And you want this dog to be biting right now, because it allows you to come in here, and you can see we have really good agents in this group. Two of the top ones just spoke the same anecdote, and the solution is the same. Get in their kitchen and have the most difficult conversation face to face. There is no other media or medium that you can deliver your message of guidance and instruction that's better than kinesthetically being three-dimensional with them in a sit-down. Nothing beats that, because there's nothing lost in translation. Nobody can hide what's really going on. You can read body language. You can bring evidence. There's nothing like that dance together. Right? The world is moving us further apart and further apart. And even those of us that come from another generation, whereas face to face, we're gaining too much comfort in throwing our information via email, voicemail, telephone call. All those things are critical and helpful. But the rubber meets the road for the best of the best, because they go face to face at the most critical moments. In fact, I'll make an argument for top producers gaining that leverage. It should be freeing them up to do more face-to-face. People say, what are you, nuts at your stage of the game doing open houses? Are you kidding me? My ability in 90 minutes to go face-to-face with multiple people on behalf of my seller? What a wonderful, fabulous, highest dollar value use of my time to be face-to-face. Anytime. Why do you think I go on the listing presentations face-to-face? Tomorrow morning with a buyer flying in on the red eye, then going to Singapore just to see 3 or 4 places face-to-face. Okay? The best market makers, I'm going to leave you with an image today. Okay? I have a little bit more time for a little Q&A, but I want this image to be stuck in your head, and I want you to go find it. Okay? Go down to the marketplace visually, go onto YouTube and look up the Chicago trading pit, the New York Stock Exchange floor, and watch where business really happens. Okay. I know there's machinery and everything, but there are human beings face to face, flesh pressed up against each other. They're sitting there grinding away, making a market for stocks, for commodities. You will never forget that again. You have to get in the pit to be extraordinarily good at this. And there's days in the pit where there's fist fights, right? You got to get in a fist fight with the challenge, not the human being. You're the solution for them, but you got to get in the pit. All right. One last call for Q&A here. Other things that need to be dealt with. Excellent subjects today, though.
Hey, Danny, no question, but just for Paul to not feel alone, Karen and I are in the same boat with one of our listings.
Yeah, tell us about it.
She's come down. She's come down in just the past 2 weeks, $15,000, and we haven't gotten a single, not one showing since we've dropped the price. It makes no sense. Beautiful house, great school district. This woman is so wonderful, and she's so sweet, and she is willing to work. Karen goes to her and says, okay, well, I need another reduction. But it's so crazy because when Karen comped we're right in the ballpark, and the market has changed so much. We've been on 70 days now.
Yeah, 70 days, my gosh. You guys are all so spoiled, it's mind-blowing, right? We're at with the guy I told you.
My average is 8 days.
Yeah, yours is 8. I mean, it's stunning what this has done and I like it because it's a coachable moment, right? So to that extent, I like it because it's fixable and it will make you the best in those declining. And that's Spokane, Washington, and we know how good that's been. I don't think there's anything.
It's been unreal. You can't even. Most of the time, I'm still in that mindset where when a client calls me and says, I want to go look at a house, I'm calling Karen and I'm like, we need to go right now.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, we don't.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
So
yes, we need to go soon, but we don't need to go this minute like we did.
Yes.
And I'm just programmed for that right now.
Well, here, program yourself for this. You need to be explaining to your sellers that the market is cooling and you need to show them the evidence. Every single one of my mastermind members better have in their hands their third quarter market report. And you better be looking at your inventory increase or decrease year over year. Your days on market increase year over year. Do you bring that to these meetings where I said get in their kitchen? Do you bring that to your listing presentations? Probably not, because you've been spoiled. You don't see what that tells you about trends. Your job is like Gretzky, to be where the puck is going to be, not where it's been. So if you can lead these people with information and say, look, we better watch this trend here. Inventory, I can tell you right now, I'm sitting in downtown Boston. It has been white hot for a long time. I've been waiting for it to cool. Licking my chops now. Because everybody who just took their shitty pictures, didn't advise on staging, I can see these properties left and right, even at super high end, okay? I'm licking my chops saying, okay, are we done with this charade now where everybody thinks you can get away with this? Let me tell you what a real strategy does. Let me tell you what pricing it right does, right? These are skill sets that are not hard to learn, especially if you're sitting here with me every week. They're not hard to learn. They're extremely teachable, but they're tremendously valuable always. Even when a market's good, I still go through I follow my yellow brick system every time to empower my people, okay? But now it becomes important for you to understand it because the questions here today, here we are, October the 18th of 2019, and we are cooling, okay? If you're not paying attention, $322 billion has moved into money market accounts. That means a movement to cash. Buffett has moved 122 billion. There's an article, if you Google it, one of these whiny hedge fund manager, whoever it is, that had money with Buffett is saying, oh, Buffett's a whiner. Really? Buffett's one of the most successful guys in the history of time, but you keep calling him a whiner. I'm going to watch what he's doing. It's a harbinger of things to come. We have lower interest rates that are not necessarily creating this tremendous demand, as you're all seeing. 70 days in the market in Spokane, okay? Still needing that price reduction, not like the interest rate lowering did not solve the problem. What's that tell you? So are you communicating that? Are you walking into these price reduction conversations saying, hey, look, here's why. Notice the inventory month to month has gone up. A whole month supply, year over year, it's up 25% downtown Boston. Imagine that. The inventory, 25%. Now, the interest rates gets lower. They get lower in hopes of gobbling up that. But what happens if that doesn't happen? What happens if these interest rates are low and inventory continues to expand? There's a tremendous pressure and call for massive price reductions. Okay? Big ones. If you don't watch those trends, then you don't know the basic math of our market, and shame on me for not teaching it to you. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Paul?
Karen's been doing it. I mean, she's been coming at this woman with everything, and she's been awesome. And the woman has been very compliant, but Karen feels terrible, obviously, because when she originally comped it, we were much higher.
But Terry, hold on. Terry, forget about that. Forget about that. Here's the deal. I'm asking you as the telemarketer that supports her, how well do you know the Spokane inventory levels and the change? How well do you know it? Because that's your talking point. That's your talking point on the phone as you set up this appointment. And as Karen comes in, she consistently repeats it so that these people understand her professionalism and yours. It's a continuum. We don't make this up. It's the yellow brick system. Follow the system. Everything that matters and works out well follows a system that's refined. And in our world, it's all predicated on the best information. Stay on top of the information so that you get out ahead of it. You're going to be calling expireds galore pretty soon in Spokane, and you better be able to articulate math, not your opinion. Hey, the market's cooling. It's a buyer's market now. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I don't even know what it means. Because even in the heat of a recession, the seller who has the cherry location, the flight is always to gold. If I have the cherry location in the Back Bay of Boston and somebody, sells a software company, doesn't even recognize what's going on in the recession, or worse, not worse, or better for them, their business thrives in a recession and they walk down the street and they want to pay top dollar and they're trying to haggle with the seller and the seller's like, I don't care, I don't have to sell, but I'll sell it at this number. They still kill it in a recession. So you have to understand how the factors in market making for property really work. And it starts with choose a specific location, understand its specific metrics, share those with the public and individually with these people you're dealing with, and that gives you this positioning as an authority. And it elevates you very quickly from the average real estate agent dramatically, because who's doing this homework? I mean, how many people do we have on a call like this that will drop in and even listen in, let alone then go do the work to get it out of their MLS, put it in a form where somebody can explain it to them. You're way ahead of everybody, but you better use this stuff. And all of you that have been in good markets, here's your smelling salts moment. Wake up, and don't you dare shrink down. You lean in when the dog bites. Okay. All right. Enough of this. Good work. Excellent participation today. Great case studies. See you on the other side. Go practice this stuff out there in the field. Get in their kitchen, because that's where you can communicate the best. All right? See you on the other side. Good work, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good work.
You're welcome. Good.